Rothschild family, the most famous of all European banking dynasties, which for some 200 years exerted great influence on the economic and indirectly the political history of Europe. Today we'll solve many mysteries surrounding this family, such as: who are they? Why are they important? How it all started? How they became so successful and what conspiracy theories surround them? Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's roll! Maya Amschel Rothschild was born in 1744 to an Ashkenazi Jewish family in the Judengasse, the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt. Amschel's father had a business in goods trading and currency exchange. He was a personal supplier of coins to the Prince of Hesse. With the help of relatives, who would have thought, right? Rothschild secured an apprenticeship under Jacob Wolf Oppenheimer at the banking firm of Simon Wolf Oppenheimer in Hanover in 1757. There he has been taught useful knowledge in foreign trade and currency exchange. Later, I found that he won the patronage of Crown Prince Wilhelm of Hesse, gaining the title of court factor. The House of Rothschild was founded in Frankfurt by Maya Amschel Rothschild and his four sons: Salomon, Nathan, Karl Maya and James Maya. Salomon creating a branch in Vienna. The business financed the Nordbahn rail transport network, Austria's first steam railway, plus funding various government undertakings where large amounts of capital had to be raised. He made connections amongst the country's aristocracy and its political elite through Prince Clemens Metternich and Friedrich von Gantz. Nathan made it to England. He established a business in textile trading and finance, later moving to London, England, beginning to deal on the London Stock Exchange. He made a fortune in trading bills of exchange through a banking enterprise beginning in 1805, dealing with financial instruments such as foreign bills and government securities. Karl Maya, Naples, which was occupied by the Austrian army, and it provided the opportunity for the Rothschilds to set up business in the kingdom. Karl Rothschild was therefore sent to Naples, where he established CM de Rothschild and Fili, to operate as a satellite office to the Rothschild banking family of Germany headquarters in Frankfurt am Main. James Maya settled in Paris. He became the most powerful banker in the country and, following the Napoleonic Wars, played a major role in financing the construction of railroads and the mining business that helped make France an industrial power. They began as dealers in luxury items and traders in coins and commercial papers. Rothschild and his sons eventually became, surprise surprise, bankers. At that time, French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars came as a piece of great good fortune. The wars for the Rothschilds meant loans to warring princes, smuggling as well as legal trading in key products such as wheat, cotton, colonial produce and arms, and the transfer of international payments between the British Isles and the continent that Napoleon vainly attempted to close to British trade. Peace transformed the growing Rothschild business. The banking group continued its international business dealings, but became more and more agent in securities, stocks and shares. Thus, the family successfully adapted to the Industrial Revolution and participated in economic growth throughout Europe with their railway, coal, ironworking and metallurgical investments. By the last quarter of the 19th century, the Rothschild Group was no longer the first banking consortium. Other groups in Europe and in the United States had become stronger, richer and more enterprising. From 1895 through 1907, they loaned nearly $450 million, equivalent to $13.1 trillion in 2021, to European governments. By the second generation, when the sons of the five founding fathers entered the business, the Rothschilds' business was polished and refined, as well as naturalized and nationalized to the point of blending into leadership positions without losing any of their family attributes. They were influencing the national economy and politics of their countries as greatly as they were being influenced themselves. Alphonse, for example, could boast without immodesty that his influence had maintained the chief of the French government, Adolphe Thiers, in power. And at the same time, Lionel was able to give on a few hours' notices £4 million that allowed the British government to become the principal stockholder in the Suez Canal Company. The Rothschilds were much honored. Maya's five sons were made barons of the Austrian Empire. A Rothschild was the first Jew to ever enter the British Parliament, and another was the first one to be elevated to the British peerage. The head of the British branch of the family has always been considered an unofficial head of British Jewry. Members of the British and French families after World War II distinguished themselves as scientists and often as philanthropists. In 2003-2008, the British and French houses were merged, marking the reunification of the Rothschild family business for the first time in nearly 2 centuries. The Rothschilds were incredibly influential and powerful, and their influence and wealth extended to many countries. The family was directly involved in the independence of Brazil from Portugal in the early 19th century. Upon an agreement, the Brazilian government should pay a compensation of £2 million to the Kingdom of Portugal to accept Brazil's independence. The family funded Cecil Rhodes in the creation of the African colony of Rhodesia. The Japanese government approached the London and Paris families for funding during the Russo-Japanese War. The London Consortium's issue of Japanese war bonds would total £11.5 million. The name of Rothschild became synonymous with extravagance and great wealth. They were also a symbol of Jewish success and were seen as a model of what could be achieved by a Jewish family. And their rapid accumulation of wealth and power was met with, guess what? That's right, a rampant anti-Semitism. As a Jewish family, the Rothschilds have been targeted by conspiracy theorists as a prime example of Jews allegedly using their money to manipulate world events, control governments, and advance their own financial interests. But we're not going to uncover this up for our own sake. These theories often center around the idea that the family has a secret agenda to gain control of the world's finances and political systems. Other theories suggest that the Rothschilds are involved in a secret plot to create a new world order, or that they are part of a Jewish conspiracy to control world events. Today's Rothschilds, fortunately or not, aren't as rich as Bezos and Gates. But guess what's their occupation now? Nathaniel Nat Rothschild was co-chairman of the hedge fund Atticus Capital until it ceased activity in 2009. He now lives in Switzerland a majority of the time and runs JNR Limited, an advisory business focused on emerging markets natural resources transactions. He is co-chair of Bumi plc, an Indonesian mining company listed on the London Stock Exchange. David Meyer the Rothschild, environmental activist and adventurer, head of Adventure Ecology, a group that raises awareness of climate change, author of the book dedicated to surviving climate change, sailed a boat, the Plastiki, made entirely of recycled plastic bottles and other reclaimed materials from San Francisco to Sydney in 2009. Currently lives in California. Edward Etienne Alphonse the Rothschild owns a share of the Lafitte vineyard and is an avid horse enthusiast. In 2005, he invested approximately $28 million in the left-wing Parisian newspaper Libération. Lynn Forrester the Rothschild, CEO of E.L. Rothschild, a holding company with investments in a range of media properties, including The Economist Group. She was a major fundraiser for Hillary Clinton in 2008 and gained notoriety for subsequently endorsing John McCain. She splits time between New York and London. Serena Mary Rothschild, socialite and horse breeder living in England. Nadine de Rothschild, French author and actress. Leopold David the Rothschild, financier, music lover and benefactor, has become an accomplished pianist, violinist, and is a trustee of numerous British classical music organizations. Former director of the Bank of England and current director of the family's merchant bank. Emma Georgina Rothschild, economic historian at Harvard and is an honorary professor at Cambridge. She is married to the Nobel Prize-winning economist Amartya. Charlotte Henriette the Rothschild, British soprano who performs globally and is particularly popular in Japan. Anthony James the Rothschild, co-managing director of A7 music label based in Brighton. Baron David Rene James the Rothschild, chairman of Rothschild Continuation Holdings based in Switzerland and former chairman of De Beers. He lives in Normandy in the heart of French horse country, near his brother Edward. But they still command the attention of anti-Semites and conspiracy mongers. People on the internet say that the family caused both communism and capitalism, World Wars I and II, 9/11, the recent Malaysian air disaster, and the most ridiculous that I found is that they sank the Titanic. Anyways, these days, while the Rothschild's bank can't match a JP Morgan Chase or a Citibank in making multi-billion-dollar loans, it regularly ranks amongst the world's top dozen firms advising on important mergers and acquisition deals. Some 200 years after Meyer Rothschild dispatched his sons to Europe's capitals, the Rothschilds still compare well with other dynasties. They're doing better than the House of Windsor, to whom they have been advisors. They remained prominent longer than the Rockefellers, whose fourth and fifth generation have largely been invisible. As for the Leymans, they've gone from important financiers to political leaders — remember Governor Herbert Lehman — to the name of a failed investment bank that arguably set off the Great Recession. Successive generations of Rothschilds, meanwhile, keep producing sharp-penciled investors as well as aesthetes and intellectuals. No one has spoiled the Rothschilds' name, though generations of anti-Semites keep trying.